Hey you all, my name is Rebecca Evans and this is my intercultural speech for my Introduction to Communications class. Today I'm going to speak about the language, traditions, and beliefs of the Japanese culture. Although there are many different cultures represented all over the world, the one that stands out to me the most is the Japanese culture. The Japanese culture differs from the American culture because Japanese women and men sometimes speak a different language, have many different traditions, and have different beliefs or rules that they follow by on a daily basis. So today you will get to learn more about a culture that you may have not ever thought about learning. The person I chose to interview just so happened to be my neighbor for many years. Her name is Jennifer Edwards. Her mother is Japanese and her father is American. Jennifer's dad was stationed in the Army in Japan when he met Jennifer's mother. They met at a very young age, fell in love, and had two girls, Jennifer and her sister Maudie. The girls were both born in Yokosuka, Japan. Although Jennifer has a Japanese background and culture, her primary language is English. She moved here to the United States with her father when she was very young and learned the language very quickly. She is somewhat bilingual, she says, but she feels most comfortable speaking the English language. According to Daniel Vogler, who wrote an overview of the history of the Japanese language, he stated that Japanese is spoken by 125 million speakers, primarily in Japan, where the language is the national language. Little is known about the language's history or when it first appeared in Japan. Some Chinese documents from the 3rd century record a few Japanese words, but the language does not really appear until the 8th century. In a book titled A History of the Japanese Language, it is stated that Japanese writing is taken from Chinese. There are many different types of Japanese language. It's an East Asian language which has several different types, but the most common now is called Modern or New Japanese, and it ranged from 1600 to today. The actual language started in 700 with Old Japanese. Japanese calligraphy is a form of artistic writing of the Japanese language. The most esteemed calligrapher in Japan had been a man named Wang Ezihi, a Chinese calligrapher in the 4th century. The tools used to do calligraphy was a brush and ink stick of 50 to 100 years old, mulberry paper, and inkstone to grind the ink stick against, and then they mixed it with water to make the ink. The Chinese roots of Japanese calligraphy go back all the way to the 28th century BC. Language is the most noticeable difference between culture, but a close second would be tradition. Jennifer stated that her traditions are now pretty Americanized. She has worn traditional Japanese clothing in the past, which she called a geisha dress. She wore it for her senior pictures. I'll post a picture down below this speech to show y'all the dress. There are also many different foods served in Japan, from sushi to rice cakes, rice bowls, they love rice, noodles, bread, and several pickled or salted foods. Jennifer says that her favorite food is called yakisoba, and what yakisoba is known as here in the United States is stir fry. So on a website called Revolvi, the Japanese word soba means buckwheat, which is actually a type of noodle. Soba can be served in a variety of ways. It's actually a very good nutritional addition to any diet. The way that Jennifer likes to serve it best is with bite-sized pork, cabbage, onions, and carrots with a dash of salt and pepper, and she originally learned this recipe by her mother. Food is a big part of the Japanese culture, but so are traditional names. Jennifer's sister has a very traditional Japanese name. Her sister's name is Mari, which is actually spelled M-A-R-I. Her name means truth. In Japan, you will find that many people have names with some type of symbolic meaning. Also, in Japan, they are so strong in their beliefs. Jennifer believes in God and that He died for our sins. As for holidays, Jennifer celebrates every American holiday and her birthdays with family and friends. Signs of respect are huge in Japan. You may notice that before any type of martial arts, they bow to each other as a sign of respect. In Japan, you would see bowing several times daily. Jennifer had told me that bowing is a very important sign of respect in Japan, and it can apply to a wide variety of situations, something from sports like martial arts all the way to weddings. The bows vary from a very slight bow when greeting a friend to a rare bow known as a kowtow bow for a profound apology. In Jennifer's free time, she likes to write poetry, dance, sing, and go kayaking. A few of her favorite movies are Forrest Gump, Legends of the Falls, and Patch Adams. Although I love my culture as an American, I have found it very interesting to find out more about another culture other than my own. I never truly ever realized how diverse a different culture could be from my own. Many different languages are spoken, different traditions are shared, and different beliefs and rules are taught, not only here in the United States and Japan, but all throughout the world. As you can see, the Japanese culture differs from our own in many ways, whether that be in language, in traditions, or in beliefs. And to think, we have an entire world of cultures, so to speak, right here in our small little towns.